Welcome to Bloxburg is a greatly known game on Roblox where you can build a house, go to work, talk to friends, and even roleplay a family. And recently, there have been a lot of awesome updates that have come out to make the Bloxburg experience a lot better. But honestly, I still think there's a lot they could add to the game. So today, I'm going to give you my list of features I want added to Bloxburg. Let's begin. So first, I want to dig into the vehicles, because I think there's a lot that could be added, but I think it won't take up the first 10 minutes to explain. Right off the bat, Creativboi needs to add an SUV. And if you don't know what an SUV looks like, there's a picture on screen right now. It's one of those new type family cars with the 5 to 7 seats, and it's packed with fun features. I think they should add this because, well, in Bloxburg, you can start a family and roleplay a family, and usually that will mean you will have a lot of family members, so you need a pretty big car. And yes, they did already add the minivan to Bloxburg that can hold quite the number of people. But honestly, who drives a minivan anymore? I'm not saying it's bad if you do, but admit it. This thing looks super ugly, but that's not the only thing I want to talk about in the vehicle category. I think an awesome feature that many people would appreciate is having the ability to spawn your car anywhere or customize it on the go. What I mean by this is that you could buy a game pass that gives you the ability to spawn your car anywhere, or if you didn't have the game pass, you could go to your plot or garage in the town to customize or spawn it. I know we're taking a lot of features from Jailbreak though, so I'm not entirely sure that Creativboi could implement this feature. But along with that, I think the entire vehicle inventory should be changed. For example, currently, if you want to buy a new car, you can hop into build mode and click the vehicles button, then you can scroll through all the cars. And once you place it, that car is available only on your plot. So that means you can't choose a different plot and drive it there too. This is super annoying. But for anyone who owns a car that costs Bloxburg, you can delete the car off your plot and put it on a different one. So I think they should add this feature, but instead of the car only existing on the plot, there should be an inventory system that shows all your cars so that you can spawn them, customize them, or place them on your plot. That would make Mike's Motors a useful shop in Bloxburg, so you could buy a car there and spawn it, then drive away. It would make it a lot more realistic in my opinion, but you should still be able to buy your car in build mode too. And my last feature I want added for the vehicle section is being able to crash cars. I know this feature seems like an annoyance, but how do you expect to make a roleplay about a car accident when you can't crash cars? But if you do want to prevent annoyance, just like Greenville, you should have a toggle that can turn on crash cars or not. So we're finally done with vehicles, and now let's move on to my next wanted feature, which is pets. It actually kind of confuses me how you can't already have a pet in Bloxburg. It just seems a bit obvious. You can already adopt kids, why can't you adopt a pet? The way that this would work is that there's a new shop in town that sells pets, and you can buy a different type of pet depending on how much you spend. This would create so many new roleplays and a lot more companionship in Bloxburg. Maybe your dog would be able to follow you around, or your cat can annoy you while you're trying to sleep. And each of your pets would also have moods just like we do, and you have to fulfill their needs, or well, they die. But come on Creativboi, this is a must-have in your game. Now my third wanted feature is a Creativboi TV channel. Obviously, I'm joking, but if you are enjoying the video so far, be sure to give it a like to show that you support it, and maybe even subscribe if you want some more videos like this. Now, let's continue. My actual third wanted feature is, and I know this might be a stretch, but maybe make Bloxburg a free game. I know this could impact your sales, but if this 25 Robux fee doesn't actually make you much money anymore, maybe Creativboi should think about making the game free. I can see a much bigger amount of people play the game, especially if they could get started without paying a dime. On to the fourth feature I want. That is upgrading the player cap per server to 24 or just higher than the current 12. Yes, I know this might make Roblox's servers a little slower and less stable, but I see that Roblox is trying to get the servers to be much more stable, mainly because of all the complaints. But anyway, this feature would make it possible to roleplay with even more people and allow a better chance of joining your friend's game. I want to go over building for this fifth feature, because even though Creativboi has done an amazing job, making lots of furniture and building tools for us, I think there's still a lot that could be added. My first wanted building feature is a bit personal, and I don't think many people would even care about it. But anyway, look at this picture of this house. It's not my house, so don't try to stalk me. It's just some random house I found online. As you can see, there's stairs leading up to the door, but the actual house floor begins about here. So I want Creativboi to add a kind of semi-floor that gives a little more room between the ground and the first floor. And yes, I know you can already do that with normal floors, but sometimes the house just looks too high. It kind of just looks like it's a 2-story house. Hey, and Creativboi could even make this a buyable game pass, so it's more money for them. Just add the feature. I also believe that there could be a lot more small details added to the interior and exterior of houses. For example, vents, gutters, and water pipes. Now there is a feature that I would like to be added, but really it doesn't have a purpose currently. But I believe that it could be implemented into more features in the long run. This feature is being able to label each room. For example, you could say this room is the bathroom, or this bigger room is the living room. Right now, I think the only reason you would use this is to label where a camera is located when you're on the computer. This will make it a lot easier to actually know exactly where it is, especially if your house is pretty simple and most of the rooms look the same. And you know how we already have power boxes? They're alright, I guess, but they can only turn on and off all the lights in your house. It can't turn off a specific area. So they could add a breaker box to the outside of your house, and depending on how powerful your breaker is, you could support more electricity and rooms. For example, let's say we have 5 rooms in a house. You could buy a level 1 breaker, let's say, and pretend that the level 1 breaker could support 5 switches. You could connect each room to a switch and turn on anything in that area on or off, all from one place. Or if you had 10 rooms, you could buy a level 2 breaker that supports more rooms. Or if you had 5 rooms, but a level 2 breaker, you would have a bunch of empty slots, but your breaker wouldn't pop because it can support more electricity. I know this is a lot of information to take in, but I think this is a really fun thing to implement to make the game more realistic. Now the last thing I'd love to be added to Bloxburg is shops. Real, dedicated shops. You've seen lots of people open their own cafe or their own restaurant and serve people as a waiter or cook the food as a chef. And I think that is super awesome. But right now, doing that is a little tacky, since you firstly need to get a customer, which is pretty hard, especially without more players, which gives more reason to upgrade the player limit. But after you finally get a customer, you have to go up to them, make them guest or whatever, and it's just annoying. Then if you give them food, you can only place it on the table or give it to them one at a time. Creativboi should add the ability to buy a shop plot, which is different to a house plot. It gives you proper shop items and the ability to buy stuff in bulk. You should also have a whole range of restaurant tables and chairs, and you can upgrade your shop rating by serving customers. Then you could buy advertisements like posters or banners or signs, and you could put them around the town. You could even make a menu that you can hand to people that has everything you sell. Then they could click on what they want, and instead of having to type it in chat and remember exactly what they ordered, it's kind of like a receipt, and you can see exactly what they want. You could see Bloxburg doing this, especially since they already have cash registers, so they're obviously trying to push people to sell stuff and get money. And speaking of cash, it should automatically charge the customer as soon as they get the food, so that they don't steal it. Trust me, it happens. And so that people actually go to the restaurants instead of going to the supermarket or just going to your fridge. There should be restaurant-only products that you can only obtain by going to a cafe or restaurant. This would mean that you can't make it at home and would give more service to the people who are opening their own cafes or restaurants. This would also create a new method of income, and it would mean that people didn't always need to work at pizza delivery. But that's all I have to offer. If you had any more features that you want Bloxburg to add, make sure to comment it down below. Remember to like the video if you watched till the end, and subscribe if you want more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.